Okay, today's mission, gonna work on mounting up the aftermarket seats. Now, these seats were actually given to me by a friend of mine who has since passed away, unfortunately, but they are exactly what I wanted. Somebody had gotten them, and it turns out when they got shipped, they were supposed to be red stitching and they were orange. So he couldn't use them, or didn't want to use them. Fortunately for me, orange stitching matches everything else I got going on in this interior. So they're perfect. I mean, I don't know how I could ask for anything more. But anyway, these aftermarket seats, they come with the rails or tracks or whatever you want to call them, but they don't have a base, right? So to mount those tracks, between the tracks and the floor pan, you got to come up with a seat bracket. So that's what I'm going to work on today. I designed one. I'm going to cut one on the plasma table just to get it, run an example of it, just to make sure it's okay. And I'm going to cut a sacrificial one just in case I got to adjust the heights or the angles or anything else that needs to be done. But I just, as a starting point, I designed it to come up off that floor pan 1.5 inches. That seems about right compared to what the original seats were, but we'll see. So this will be interesting. I'm gonna start by getting the plasma set up. I've got some 16 gauge on there already. I'll cut them with that for the sacrificial piece. Mount the seat up and see what it looks like. But that's the plan for today. I've got to get those brackets built, and then eventually, hopefully, if everything works out right, get them painted and ready to come in and be put in the chassis. So I want to get this seat mounted up so I can start to get into a position where I can move this car around under its own power, which will be exciting. So anyway, I'll take you along, show you what I'm into. Okay, set up here on the plasma. Got to do a little computering. This is the bracket that I designed, and it'll make more sense to you once it's not flat. But let's go ahead and see if this will run. This does a nice clean cut. I'm pretty impressed with this tool. Glad I have it. I know not many people do have these, and it's kind of but I do have it, and I'm going to use it. After each cut, it goes down and touches off against the material so it knows where it is. Because you can see when the material heats up, especially when it's cold like this, it will start to just head for the buckwheat. It is a little smoky. I don't have the pan filled with water right now, so it makes a difference. And that height control is actually tracking the height of the warpage right now. It's pretty impressive. Home stretch. And that's it. Let that cool off a little bit and I'll pull it out. Okay, here's the part. Again, this is the sacrificial one. I'm going to just use this to test everything. I'm going to just clean up the edges. You do get a little bit of slag on the bottom there. I just grind. It comes right off real super easy. So I'm going to clean that up and start bending this. Okay, so that's it bent up. That's the idea. Now I can mount this in the car. Well, I'll mount it to the seat first, and then these holes will line up with what's in the floor. I set this up so I put these nice returns in here, and I'll weld those to the plate, and that'll stiffen everything up. My only question was I'm going to have a little bit of a potato chip effect this way, and if I do, I'm just going to tack in a piece of 1/2-inch square tube in here, which will alleviate that once everything else is sorted. So I'm going to tack this up real quick, and actually I'm thinking this 16 gauge is probably plenty for the actual bracket if I reinforce that one spot. But either way, this is pretty much what I was hoping to do. Yeah, I've just got to, again, this one's sacrificial. Getting the combination I just use my vice brake here. The combination of bends here, you got to do this bend first, then the inside bend, then this bend, and then I had to do this one by hand because there's just no way to get that in the tool after that. So in the jaws. So anyway, okay, I'm going to go ahead and tack this up, mount it to the seat, put it in the car, and see what it looks like. All right, so this is what the bracket looks like on the seat. Looks pretty good. I think 16 gauge is good enough. I am going to put a small piece of tubing across here. I'll weld that just so that it, gives this somewhat of a little strength there. And I'll work that in with the edge so that I can grind it smooth and I don't have this sharp edge here. But that bolts right up nice. The slider works good. I think this is a good approach. I don't need anything this way because the seat rail takes care of it, but I am worried that this thing could splay out like this a little bit. So putting a rib through here is going to help that, keep that from happening. Yeah. My rear holes did not line up. I forgot that the back of the seat tracks, the front have a hole and the back has a slot. So I marked the holes and I'll revamp the design before I cut the next two. But yeah, this is working out. So I'm going to set this in there now and see how it looks. Just, as far as distance back from the steering wheel and all that. I currently have it all the way back. Well, we'll put it in and see what happens. Okay, so that's what it looks like. It's not horrible. I think it might be might be tilted back just a hair more than I'd like to see. But let me get in there and see how it fits. Okay, so this looks, I'd love to be back about 2 inches and down another, I'm only up 1.5 inches in the front, but I'd really like to be down 1 inch in the front and 1 inch in the back, which is going to be problematic for my design. So let me play with this a little bit and see what I can come up with, but it's a little tight under the wheel. My knee hits the directional button when I try to run the clutch. Clutch feels good, by the way. So that's kind of where I'm at. Yeah, I got to go down and back a little more, and that's going to get a little tricky, so let's see what we got. All right, so here's my round two. revision 2. Gonna go and just start bending on this, I guess. Change the design a little bit. Should be a little easier to bend up, but we'll see in a minute. All right, there's round 2 bent up. I did put a couple extra returns on it, on this one just to strengthen it up that way. And I put a return down the side, although I had to break it into 2 pieces because my vise jaws are only 8 inches. So, yeah, I'm gonna put that on the seat and see if that's better. It's gotta be better. Okay, here's the Rev 2 bracket test fitted to the seat. Looks pretty good. I made myself a little bit more clearance here for the pull handle. Should work good. I'm gonna try it out in the car now. Okay, that looks a little better. I've got about, I think I gained almost 3 inches of back. So let me pile in here and see what we got. Wow, okay, this looks better. Clutch pedal, definitely working better. High-low beam is fine. Not hitting my knee on the directional lever anymore. This side's still a little tight, but I got room. I can make this work. So I think that's it. I think I'm gonna pull this back out and prep it for weld and cut the other one and make both at the same time. Then I can get them painted up. This is as good as it's gonna get. It's as low as I can go. You know, that's eye level right there, so I'm not gonna be beating my head off the convertible top or looking like Donkey Kong driving with my head up over the windshield. So yeah, I think this works. Let's see what the shifter looks like. Hold on. Oh yeah, this is gonna work. I can put that on either side, but I think that's gonna be pretty nice. Just gotta make sure it ain't smacking into my knee. I'll test that next, but I'll start getting the other bracket cut and get this one welded up, ready for paint. Okay, so got the brackets done. I welded in this little piece of C-channel on the bottom just to give it a little more rigidity, but I think those are plenty rugged now. So I'm gonna hit them with epoxy. Got a rattle can 2K, and then I'm gonna paint them and hopefully be ready to put them in tomorrow. Okay, here's the seat bracket installed and ready to go. Now I will, I'm gonna throw this in the car just so I have it in there. Put the plastic back over the seat, obviously. But yeah, that way I can, you know, continue on with everything else I need to do. But having looked at this, it looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. I've got all the, oh, it's hard to see here. Oh, here we go. It's got plenty of support. This should work just fine. And there we go. It's in. Yeah, it fits good. The shifter location worked out really well. Yeah, I think it's all good. Now when the center console goes on, it'll go over that boot, obviously. And it will have its own shift boot that's kind of decorative and up higher. But yeah, we're getting there. But yeah, I think that seat looks great. It fits good, feels good. It's not like giving you a kidney punch the whole time. So let's, I'm gonna wrap this one up here and we'll see what we move on to next.